What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with RK Outpost, and I just watched part one of CW's Crisis on Infinite Earths. Now, if you listened to a review I did a couple days ago, not a review, a video I did a couple days ago about the Kingdom Come Superman being played by Brandon Routh and it being a part of Crisis, I talked about why, how I used to be so involved and so dedicated to watching all these CW shows in the Arrowverse, and I watched every episode of every show because I wanted to stay connected for events just like this, for these crossover events, which they are honestly really cool to see all your characters come together. But the identity politics and the shifting tone of the shows over time, it just became too much for me, and I had to kind of walk away. For what I would describe as average show with above average characters, because you know their history and everything. That's part of it, right? Like they introduce these characters that you know that you've heard of from the comic books. That pulls you in a little bit more because you have a background on these guys. But for an average show, to watch and to have the identity politics just pushed down your throat, it just became not worth it to me. So I had to step away, and I haven't watched it in a couple years. I missed the last crossover event. But for this one, I saw so many people talking about it on Twitter. I decided to go check it out. So I woke up real early this morning and I watched it on CW app, which anyone is free to download. You can do that if you want. Just have to watch a couple commercials. Adds a couple minutes to the show. Not a big deal. But I want to kind of give my reaction to it. And it's not going to be like a review, an in-depth review like my Mandalorian review is, where I go through the entire plot. But I will say, if you like fan service, you will really enjoy this episode. I'm not the biggest fan service person. If you've seen my Mandalorian reviews, you know that fan service doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot to me. That's not something that is going to affect how I look at a show. But there's a lot of fan service in this. They do have, I wrote them down here. So they have Dick Grayson from the Batman, Burt Ward from the Batman TV series. They have him make an appearance there. This is adapted straight from Crisis on Infinite Earths. It's just an adaptation. It's very similar. So you have the anti-monitor has been released. You have the Monitor who's trying to stop him. You have a wave of antimatter being released across the across the multiverse that's destroying Earths. And on all these different Earths in the beginning that are getting destroyed, you see these cameos. One of them being Robin from the TV series, Burt Ward, who's old now. He's like walking a dog. He looks and he sees these crimson skies and he says, "Holy crimson skies of death." And, something like that. Something that a lot of people are going to get a kick out of. You have a reporter from Batman '89. That's clearly set in the Michael Keaton universe, or the Michael Keaton Earth. So we have that Earth get destroyed. You see the Titans. You see Robin and Hawk from the Titans TV series. They get destroyed. Things like that. Immediately, you get the understanding that this is a multiverse. These are characters that that are all involved in this multiverse. And then you go from there to the Harbinger, who is Lila. If you know who Lila is, she's married to John Diggle. She's now the Harbinger for the Monitor, who's trying to save the galaxy. So the Harbinger is collecting all of these heroes from different parts of the multiverse. That does include Arrow and Arrow's daughter Mia. That includes Flash. That includes some of the Legends of Tomorrow, Atom and White Canary. That includes Superman, saving him and Lois Lane from the destruction of the antimatter wave. They just shot their son off on an escape pod, Jonathan. That's why they were there. So just like what happens to Superman and Supergirl, Jonathan Kent also gets sent off on this little pod. But Superman and Lois are saved. Who else? Oh, and also, of course, this is my first look. I've never watched the show before. Batwoman. Batwoman gets saved. And I will just, quick aside, nearly every moment that she's on screen, it's eye rolling. I don't know how people like John Talks and people like 19K Fox, or like, I don't know how they can watch it and do reviews, You know how the EFAP guys do it, where they just sit there and laugh at it for an hour together? I get that. I can understand why that'd be fun, but to just watch it by yourself, it must be absolutely mind-numbingly painful. But anyway, all of them get collected and they get brought to Earth 38, which is Supergirl's Earth. And they have to evacuate. So that, they have a couple plans. Lena Luthor helps make this portal to transport them all to Earth 1, which is going to be the last place that this wave would go. Earth 1 is where most of our heroes are at, including Batwoman, Arrow, Flash, those guys. They're all in Earth 1. So that's going to be the last bastion, the last standing thing in the path of the antimatter wave. And you get a couple insights. So Arrow has obviously been talking with the Monitor, has made a deal with the Monitor. You find this out that the Monitor has told Barry, the Flash, that he's going to die in this crisis. And Arrow's pissed immediately because he has made a deal with Monitor saying that I was supposed to sacrifice my life so that Kara Danvers, Supergirl, and Barry Allen, the Flash, could live. And he has this, the standoff. In the Monitor basically says, there's more than you know at risk here. Like, I already did good on that bet for this last crossover event that we had, essentially is what he says. There's more at stake than just the three of you. Every life in the multiverse is at stake. So what they have to do is, just like in Crisis, this big tower comes out that helps repel the antimatter wave. It comes out of the ground, just like if you've read the comic Crisis on Infinite Earths, and that needs to be protected. It needs to be protected from these waves that the Anti-Monitor are sending at it, these waves of these like shadow people. And that's why the heroes are there, to protect it for long enough to help evacuate Earth 38. Get these people through this portal so that they can survive. But we see a cool little battle sequence where they're all together, like a super cheap Avengers, right? Because the CGI does not look good. This is a low budget thing on CW. But for what it is, it's cool. And, they're fighting them off. Everybody gets to use their skills. It's cool. Superman and Supergirl come back. They have to charge up, because it runs on solar power, evidently. So they need to charge up this huge tower to keep it repelling the antimatter. So Superman and Supergirl use their heat vision, that solar heat vision from their eyes to try to charge it. And of course, Superman passes out from exhaustion and Supergirl keeps going for several seconds longer. They have a little thing where Superman's like, "Oh, always have to outdo me, huh?" Because Supergirl is established as far more powerful than Superman in this series. So that is what it is. Superman, I'll just say, Taylor Hoechlin, I think is his name. The Superman in CW is just so meh. He is very much a CW Superman, and he's just really lame. I can't wait till he gets his butt kicked by Kingdom Come Superman. I can't wait for that to happen, because it should. Anyway, they charge it up. They hold him off for as long as they can, but the Monitor says, "Hey, it's time to go. We have to save you guys so you can keep doing other stuff." The Monitor comes and he's transporting them out of the fight. Even though not all the people are evacuated yet from Earth 38, he needs them to be saved for other stuff to help stop the Anti-Monitor. But Oliver Queen, Arrow, at the end, Arrow says, "Are they all saved yet?" And Monitor's like, "No, not yet." He's like, "Then I'm not done." And he shoots an arrow at him and, sabotages him so he can't use his powers. And Oliver continues to fight by himself against the Shadow Army wave. And he's getting his butt kicked. He has a little moment where he goes to reach and grab another arrow and he's out. So you kind of pan away as the wave is sweeping across and destroying that Earth, and they transport Oliver up right as he's about to die, and he's sitting there dying, talking to all his friends. And so yes, at the end, Oliver Queen dies at the end of this episode. Now, what that tells me is that he's probably going to survive somehow this Crisis event. I don't think many people... I think a lot of people are expecting him to die at the end of this. I don't think anyone was expecting it at the beginning. So that's my thought. I think that they're probably not going to kill him off. I think he's going to survive. But overall, it's a fine episode. The dialogue is CW. Some of the plot points are CW. If you don't watch these shows and don't understand these characters, you're not really gonna know what's going on. I think in a lot of the dialogue parts, you might appreciate the action and stuff like that, but if you don't know these characters, then a lot of what's going on is going to be missing. And Oliver's saying they're dying. It's not going to mean too much to you if you haven't watched the show. He's talking to his daughter. He's talking to White Canary and saying goodbye to them. And it is what it is. There's definitely a couple. Listen, if you're watching CW, you don't think there's going to be woke moments. I don't know what to tell you. It just is what it is. It's CW, so you just got to know that going in. But at the end of the day, if you are interested in this, go give it a watch. It's free on CW, on the CW app, and I mean, maybe you really like it. It brought me back to the days where I really enjoyed it and I really liked watching these crossovers. I don't know if I'll watch the next one or not. There's another one on tonight, but yeah, it was okay. Batwoman's cringe. Surprise, surprise. Batwoman's super cringe. Didn't know that. But we're going to have a lot more cameos coming up. Like we said, Brandon Routh. We know we have the Smallville Superman coming up. We have Kevin Conroy's Batman that's going to be coming up. All of those cool fan service things are going to be there. So if this is the time to get into it right now so you can watch these next couple episodes. CW app, Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1. Let me know if you watch it. Let me know what you thought of it below. I thought it was fine. It didn't blow me out of the water. If you really like fan service, you'll really love this. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe, smash the like button, ring the bell for notifications, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.